I woke up that morning to the sharp crack of something breaking not my windows, but something far worse. I rushed outside in my slippers and bathrobe, heart pounding, only to find Barbara, our neighborhood's self-proclaimed enforcer, standing on my lawn with a hammer in her hand. Shards of metal and plastic littered the grass, and there she was, looking smug as ever, brushing off her hands like she'd just done me a favor. That ugly eyesore, as she called it, wasn't some ordinary satellite dish for watching football games. It was a government-issued emergency receiver, part of a federal contract from my days in communications engineering. Tied directly to the Department of Homeland Security's network, it stayed silent unless disaster struck. But Barbara, with her obsession over perfect lawns and matching mailboxes, had just smashed it to bits because it didn't fit her vision of suburban perfection. I didn't yell or charge at her. Instead, I stood there, letting the silence sink in. She misinterpreted it as defeat. "You're welcome," she said, stepping over the wreckage. "The HOA has been after you about this for months. You ignored the letters, so I handled it myself." That's when a small smile crept onto my face, one that must have unnerved her. Because the instant her hammer connected, two things happened. An automatic alert pinged the federal grid, and my security cameras captured every swing in crystal clear 4K. She noticed my expression and faltered, but quickly regrouped. "Don't give me that look. HOA rules are Clurno unsightly equipment on the property line." "Barbara," I replied calmly, like a poker player with aces, "that wasn't just any dish. It was a federal emergency receiver. Do you understand what that means?" Her entitlement held firm. "Oh, spare me your tall tales. I'll explain it to the board, and you'll be fined for not removing it sooner." It was almost poetic, watching her dig deeper into trouble. She strutted back to her house, muttering about billing me for cleanup. I snapped a quick photo of the damage and went inside. My phone buzzed with a restricted number. "This is the Emergency Communications Office," a crisp voice said. "We've detected a disruption at your site. Confirm status." Glancing out the window at Barbara, still preening like she'd won, I replied. A civilian with a hammer decided she outranked the government. There was a pause. "We'll send agents. Stay put." That was the moment I knew Barbara's petty power trip was about to collide with something much bigger. She thought this was HOA politics. What she didn't realize was she'd vandalized federal infrastructure, and I had the evidence to prove it. All without lifting a finger. By the time the black SUV pulled up, Barbara had crossed the street twice, once to berate me about bylaws, once to photograph the debris like it was her trophy. She was narrating loudly for the neighbors. This eyesore violated code, and as HOA president, I had to act. She didn't spot the government plates. Two men in dark suits emerged, their faces impassive but alert, the kind who could dismantle your life quietly. They ignored her attempt to intercept. "Mr. Reynolds?" the taller one asked. I nodded. Status unchanged. Civilian destroyed the receiver at 0800. Barbara's head snapped toward us. "Civilian? I'm the HOA president." The shorter agent checked his tablet. "You're confirming she caused the damage?" "3 cameras caught it," I said. "Footage ready if needed." Barbara's voice pitched higher. "This is ridiculous. It was just a dish against community guidelines." The tall agent turned to her. "Ma'am, that was a federally commissioned receiver linked to DHS channels. Destruction of government property under Title 18, Section 1361. For the first time, doubt flickered in her eyes. "I didn't know. It ruined the neighborhood aesthetic. Nobody said it was important. Warning stickers and serial plates were on it," the shorter one noted, scanning the shards. "Confirmed, registered, and now inoperable." Barbara paled. "You can't buy stickers like that on Amazon and claim it's official." I nearly chuckled, but the agent stayed stone-faced. "Name," the tall one demanded. She bristled. "I don't have to tell you anything. This is private property. Call my lawyer." That's when things escalated into legend. Lawyers don't trump federal law. The agent pressed. "Provide ID for the report." Neighbors peeked from windows, pretending to garden while eavesdropping. No one rushed to her aid. "You've compromised emergency response," the tall one explained. "Step inside for questions." Barbara tossed her head defiantly. If he'd complied, I wouldn't have had to. I called after her. "I'll send your lawyer the 4K footage, multiple angles." The agents led her away. My phone buzzed again. "Replacement gear en route. Testimony needed. no unauthorized discussions. I sat on my porch, watching the cul-de-sac buzz. Barbara's loudest mistake was just the start. By noon, the street hummed with gossip. Her 2-hour interrogation left her disheveled hair frizzed, face flushed. She emerged snapping at the agents, accusing harassment, then stormed over to me. Call them off. This is a misunderstanding. I feigned innocence. Barbara, you smashed federal property in daylight. Her eyes darted to the gathering neighbors. Lower your voice, the HOA won't back you. Good, I said smoothly, because you might need them more. She flared. Don't get smug. I still run this place. I gave her a steady look. Not like you think. This carries prison time. Her mask cracked. She stomped off, muttering about overblown drama. That afternoon, the HOA held an emergency meeting packed, with snacks and phones recording. Barbara slammed her folder. This is blown out of proportion. I acted for the community, expect your support. But the board pushed back. Tom, usually quiet on landscaping, asked, did you really destroy government property? Voices rose. Old allies like Helen questioned liability. Past grievances surfaced, fines for wreath colors, threats over lawn chairs. This isn't about the dish, Tom declared. It's if you're fit to lead. Barbara stormed out, but the board voted her out unanimously. She cornered me later, shaking. You don't get what this does to Mimi, reputation ruined over a stupid dish. Calmly, I replied. It's not the dish, it's your hammer, my cameras, and the feds. She gripped the railing. I'll fight this, bury you in fees. You'll wait for fallout. I cut in. She had no retort, slamming her door. Barbara wasn't battling me anymore. She was fighting inevitability. The neighborhood turned soap opera by morning. Word spread, Barbara ousted as president. Tom stopped by my porch, gleeful. She's gone 23 years of her grip, poof. I warned, she won't quit quietly. Sure enough, she canvassed with a clipboard, rallying support, but doors shut politely. The spell broke. A restricted call, replacement in 72 hours, investigator coming. That evening, Barbara planted on my lawn, shouting, he's lying, that wasn't government property. I stepped out. Want me to play the footage? Project it for everyone. Laughter rippled from onlookers. She flushed, lunging with her clipboard. The SUV returned. Agents emerged. Ma'am, step aside. She sputtered. No right to harass me. They handed a notice, federal investigation, no interference or arrest. Silence fell, neighbors recorded openly. Barbara dropped her clipboard, running home amid chuckles. She was no longer feared, just entertainment. Texts flooded my phone. About time, count me as witness. Barbara paced at midnight. Phone to ear lawyer, retaliation, ruined. She thrashed deeper into quicksand. This wasn't neighborhood squabbles. It was federal, irreversible. Her unraveling peaked on day 5. Videos went viral locally, hammer swings captioned, HOA tyrant versus Fed dish. Memes proliferated. The federal investigator arrived, all business. We reviewed footage, timeline, HOA letters. Sufficient, he nodded. She'll face charges, extent depends on making an example. Commotion outside. Barbara with a sweaty lawyer, pointing. He's defaming Mises and desist. The investigator flashed his badge. Reconsider federal jurisdiction. The lawyer bailed, muttering conflicts. Barbara screamed, coward. The investigator warned. Continued violation means arrest. Trembling, she spat. You'll regret this, all of you. Neighbors gathered, smiling, clapping softly. She broke, fleeing inside. Charged within the week, he said destruction, interference, possibly obstruction. Quiet settled, but not for long. Replacement installed, gleaming. Neighbors gathered in my driveway, projector on garage, footage in 4K. Laughter echoed, cathartic release from years under her thumb. Barbara's hammer ended her reign. I sat back, sipping beer, watching the community breathe free. The long game always wins. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments below, especially on themes of injustice and overreach in everyday life. Have you faced a Barbara in your neighborhood? Take a stand, express your views on handling such conflicts without resorting to violence. Your stories could spark great discussions.